ChoralEd.
Hello, fellow choral directors, and welcome to episode 22 of ChoralEd. I'm your host, Micah Bland. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. For today's episode, it is my great pleasure to welcome to the show my former middle school choir director, Mr. Bryce Gage. Mr. Gage is currently the director at Marble Falls High School in Texas, and will be sharing with us how to introduce sight reading to new choral students. I hope you enjoy this presentation by Bryce Gage.
Hi, my name is Bryce Gage, and I'm the head choral director here at Marble Falls High School. I've taught 24 years in the Texas education system, and all of those years have been in secondary. Whether I've been in the middle school classroom or the high school classroom, I have yet to have a year in which I didn't have students come to my classroom not being able to read. Sight reading is a process that serves them for their life. I personally think it is one of the most important skills that we can teach them. The tips and methods that I'm going to show you today, I even actually use them for all of my classes at the beginning of the year to make sure that everything is covered and they have a strong foundation. Teaching sight reading to the beginning choral student requires a multi-layered approach. It is my personal belief that singing and sight reading is 95% your ears and 5% everything else. If we can teach our students how to listen and what to listen for, the sight reading process will move much quicker and they will be much more successful. The assumption is that you're already teaching lines and spaces, rhythm, pitches, basic music skill, solfege, and here in Marble Falls, we also use the Kerwin hand signs. The kinesthetic approach of the Kerwin hand signs requires that the students move their hand signs. You will see many students try to keep everything right in the same spot, so they'd sing do, re, mi, fa. Those students tend to struggle with tuning and finding intervals quickly. If you can use the approach of putting your do at your belly button, your mi about chest high, and your so about your forehead, the success of your students raises tremendously. Those skills are things that I teach every day and that I require our students. The first step I take when I'm working with brand new sight readers is I do call and response. I need to know that they can match pitch and respond back with what they hear. I use neutral syllables in the beginning, and I keep the intervals really, really small. I also keep the exercise really small. I will start adding on as I go along, and then as they become more familiar with that, I will add on solfege so that they have hand signs and solfege. They get to see me do it, and then we can take that next step and put it onto the wall with the hand sign chart. Here's an example of what I do with my students when I'm doing the call and response. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. And then I move on to solfege when I feel that they are successful at what they are doing. So I'll go from do, re, mi. Do, re, mi. Mi, re, do. Mi, re, do. Do, mi, mi. Do, mi, mi. Mi, so, mi. Mi, so, mi. Mi, re, do, do. Mi, re, do, do. Do, do, re, mi, mi. Do, do, re, mi, mi. Mi, so, 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 so. Mi, so, 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 so. sol, fa, mi, re, do, do.
Sol, fa, mi, re, do, do.
So I vary the rhythm and I vary the intervals. I don't use large intervals in the beginning. There's no reason to try to teach a kid to sing a sixth when they can't sing a second or a third. So we want to layer that in and spiral all of those in. You will have heard mistakes in that session that we just did, and I will go back and repeat those intervals with the students again. Some of the drills we use when we're learning our oral skills is we use our hand sign chart, and we do several drills with this. The first one is just a normal scale. Ready? And sing. Do, re, mi, fa, and I'm reminding them to use their hand signs the whole time. Do, ti, la, so, give me a good vowel. Mi, re, do. And then we add the next one, which is do, re, do, and sing. Do, re, do, do, re, mi, re, do, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. You can assess vowels, you can assess hand signs, you can assess posture. There are so many things you can do during this time as you continue to work on your sight reading skills. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And then the last one I'm going to show you is up a third and then down a second. Ready? And sing. Do, mi, re, fa, mi, sol, fa, la, sol, ti, la, do, ti, re, do, do, la, ti, sol, la, fa, sol, mi, fa, re, mi, do, re, ti, do. The combinations that you choose to use are endless. There are so many things. You could do fourths, you can do fifths, and you can continue to work on those oral skills with your students. The next step in learning our oral skills is I put it up on the board. There is no rhythm here at all. If they can't sing these on the board, then there's no way they can sing out of an octavo. So I take them one at a time, and we sing. Do, re, mi, re, do. And then we go to the next line. Do, re, mi, re, do. And then I go to the third line. Do, re, mi, re, do. The next step I would do is add rhythm to this. So this is the next level of writing on the board without rhythm. And you can just continue level it up. There are so many options of doing it this way, and your combination is endless with all of the solfege. So here we're going to sing these. We're going to kind of sing them rather quickly for this group. Ready? And. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. As you can see, I've already started singing them with rhythm with these kids without adding the rhythm. And you can hear that there was actually a mistake that was made. And what you would do is you would go back and sing that mistake line again to make sure that they had it. Ready? And sing. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. I was keeping the beat with each set of notes, but I've set it up for rhythm. So, now I've added the rhythm to that same drill. And I've also added a measure line so that they can start reading from that standpoint. So here we are reading in rhythm on those same pitches on the board. And
do, re, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, re, do.
And I have a constant reminder of hand signs, vowel position, and that is a daily reminder. And then here I've actually written in the rhythm again. I continue to give the measure lines so that they understand that, because we are teaching all the other skills and they are layered in and spiraled in with everything else. Ready? And sing.
Do, mi, so, mi, do. Do, mi, so, mi, do.
Keep those hand signs.
Do, mi, so, mi, do.
The next set of drills I like to do, this is a great one when you're teaching parts, but it's also can be used in honing their oral skills. We start with the first line. Once everyone can sing the first line, then we'll move down and learn the bottom line down here. And once everyone can do that, we'll put the two together and start creating the chord. Once we can sing that solid, I will add the middle one if I have the students that can do that, and start creating a three-part chord. There are endless combinations that you can use on this, and I have many of those. If you'd like to check out my Instagram, my Facebook, or my email will be at the end, you can contact me and I will get all that information to you. So here we go. This is what this sounds like. And
do, ti, do, la, la, do, ti, do.
And then we'll sing the bottom one. And
do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do.
And then I put those two together. Ready? And go.
Do, ti, do, la, la, do, ti, do.
And then we'll go back and start with this one. Mi. And everyone sing this one.
Mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi.
And once everyone can sing those, we'll add on, and it just goes on endlessly. So when you sing the first one, when you get done, when we add the second one, the people that are singing this continue to sing. So everyone on this one, ready, and go.
Do, ti, do, la, la, do, ti,
Add the second line.
do, re, mi, fa, fa, do, re.
Add the middle.
Mi, fa, sol, la, la, sol, fa, mi.
And that's a great way to get them start singing in chords inside the classroom. Obviously, this is not a first day exercise. You will need to build up to that as you've sang on the board, as you've done your oral skills, as you've sang with the hand sign chart. All those add in. As I wrap this session up, I want to remind you that we are spiraling and continuing to reteach on a regular basis. These are skills that take time, and it is not going to happen overnight. This is a marathon and not a sprint. Some of the resources that I use, I wanted to share with you. One of the beginning ones that I use is called Vocal Connections, Ruth Whitlock with Southern Music. This is a great oral skills training in which you have the voice on the track is singing, and they start with neutral syllables in the beginning, and then they go to solfege. It has both major and minor, and so they sing it, and then we sing it back. This is also a really good plan when you're putting your sub-plans together for when you're going to be gone, because these lessons can still be sung and worked on their oral skills. The next one I use is in the very beginning. It's called SOS, Simplifying Our Sight Reading. It's by Laura Farnell and Mary Jane Phillips. And this is a great beginning teaching sight reading resource that you should be using. It starts out with rhythm, and then it goes on to sight reading exercises. but it's a great resource. And then along with that is a resource called the Rhythm Reader that is a resource that goes with the SOS. This one actually starts after you've gotten through page 6 of the SOS. It is also by Laura Farnell and Mary Jane Phillips. And so this is something that you also should have that you can be working with your students. After that, I have really a hodgepodge of things that I've put together through my years. I love the Oxford Folk Song Sight Reading Series. I use that, especially in the beginning. As we're moving along, after I've used the other resources, there's lots of stepwise, and this is really good. It's very sequential. As you're moving along, also music literacy for singers, Patti, DeWitt. There are all levels, beginning middle school, beginning high school, and then advanced. This starts out in unison and in stepwise motion, so that's really, really good. After you are moving along and you want to try to start doing more parts, I think 90 Easy 3-Part is a really good book. It's by John Hemmenway, and it is easily accessible if you want to just do 2 parts as you're doing that. It starts out stepwise motion and nothing out of the norm in that when it comes to rhythm. And then as I get farther along and I start making strides with my kids, I move into My Smart Book, which is Denise Eaton, Sight Singing Made Accessible, Readable, and Teachable, Volume 1, and this is a great book as you're moving along. The majority of mistakes that get made in upper level sight reading usually are thirds, and this book really focuses on thirds. She has a couple of other books that goes with this, but this is the one that I focus on, so I would use that one also. If you have any questions, you can get a hold of Dr. Bland, and he can get you in touch with me if you want to know anything else. All I can say is keep sight reading.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Gage, for sharing your resources with us. I really appreciated your systematic and spiraled approach to instruction. And as he pointed out, you are welcome to get in contact with me via my website, which is listed below in the description. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you continue to inspire the future leaders of our world through this wonderful gift we call music. Thanks.